Hey, what's going on, guys? Today is gonna be my first overdub, so please bear with me, okay? So I'm gonna narrate my own slides here. All right, so we're gonna call this the January update, okay? So as you can see, we have 407 shares at $50.53. We're currently in FAS. Just take a quick look at where we have come from and where we are. Um, got a nice little dividend, $65.09. We've held this position for the past 3 months. I've said before, there's a very long time to stay in an ETF position. Definitely not an ideal situation, but that's where we are. All right, so we got into FAS after getting out of FAZ October 11 of 2018. Looks like we bought in at $60.50. I'm sure if you go back and look at that video, even then I said that that was a high price to pay for FAS, but um, that's what we had to do at the time. As you can see, the price fell almost immediately after getting in, dropped to 56.20, bought more shares about 2 weeks later. And then the price continued to fall down to 50, and that was December 10. At that time, I made a video and I said that I didn't want to touch this thing until it got down to 40, and it did. I tried to buy it at 40, but we ended up getting in at $40.25. So not a terrible purchase, but definitely wanted to do better. And so that was the last time we purchased any shares for FAS. And again, that brings us to where we are now, which is 407 shares at $50.50. And just to give you an idea of where we are now, 53.75, which is a nice little profit. Ironically, though, I have to say this is the same profit that we missed out on a couple months back, actually. Uh, we actually missed two exit points, as well as a huge profit on FAZ. But I don't cry about missing money when you're not losing money. Or I should say, I don't cry about missing money when you're making money, right? Um, Definitely will learn from that going forward. But I do stand by my decision. And in hindsight, everything is 2020. But I don't think is a horrible thing to do. All right, so let's take a quick look at where we are. Yahoo has us at 53.65, so it looks like we're coming down a little bit, and that's okay. Um, as long as we can get out at 53.50, we'll be all right. So let's take a quick look at our RSI here. Right now, the RSI is at 61, as you can see, and we're just gonna take a look at our kind of where we got in at, which is way back here in October. Again, we got in at about $60.50. We can't show that on this particular chart, but you get an idea of kind of where we got in at. And you see the price dropped immediately, and this was our first missed exit point at roughly 65. And then the second missed exit point, again at 65. And I made videos for these, and I explained why I was not coming out. And then, of course, the price dropped way, way, way down, got down to $37.50. and which brings us back to where we are at 53.65. Without showing you on the chart, this looks very similar to a retracement. And so you see at the second exit point, the RSI was 60. At the first exit point, RSI was again at 60. And today, we're at 61. So we have to make a decision on whether we're going to stay or go. So let's take a look at FAZ. Remember, if we exit FAS, we must enter FAZ. So let's take a look at the RSI for FAZ for an entry. Looks like the last entry point was about 40. Second entry point was again right about 40. And you see this huge run up in FAZ that we completely missed out on, which brings us now to $11.18 with an RSI of 36. So it's not ideal. We rather see that RSI closer to 20, and I prefer FAZ closer to 10. Right now it's at 11. So I'm going to be a little cautious about what I'm doing here. Let's all right, so we're going to back out just a little bit here and see some historical data a year out. Okay. Previously, we were looking at the last 3 months, so this is the last 3 years. I'm sorry, the last year. This was an ultimate low over the last year at about $8.80, and that gave us an RSI of roughly 30. And you see the huge run up from that $8 and change up to 16 bucks over the next 3 months. That's 100% profit, just about. Another entry point was at 40 roughly, and then this one again, another entry point. RSI is 40. So that kind of gives us a historical number to look at, right? Again, we much rather have that RSI down to the close to the 20 range. Um, we can't see it here, so let's gonna move this thing up. All right, so that gives us an RSI of again roughly 40. Another low point right around $10. RSI was closer to 20, actually fell below 20. That is the ideal entry to get into this thing. And like I said, right now we're at 40, so it's not ideal, but historically that 40 RSI has been a good entry point. So I think I can be okay with that. There are some things that's happening fundamentally, such as government shutdown. The China trade is still on the table. Looks like it's moving in a positive direction. Still on the table. We have earnings coming out very shortly. Retailers are not looking great. Macy's is on the brink of bankruptcy. So there's a lot of things that's going on in the economy right now that are pointing to a small drop. So let's go back and take a look at where we are again. 50.53 is where we are, and the price currently 53.50. I'll still call it. All right, so what I'm going to do here is just explain mathematically um, why I'm not willing to wait again on this, and why I think it's best that we exit. And it all has to do with my cash position. Now, I currently only have about $600 left remaining to purchase any shares. And so if I hold this position, you see, I'll only be able to buy, 12 and a half shares. 12 shares isn't going to do anything to lower my cost on the FAS. I think at this point I have to exit, even though um, I want to wait, right? If the price of FAS shoots up tomorrow, hey, missed money, but I made money, so I can't cry. Um, so I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing here, but I'm clearly looking at prices for these ETFs. This is FAZ, currently priced at $11.15. Like I said before, I much rather buy FAZ when it gets down to about 10. Um, Okay, so the question is, if I do get into FAZ and the price falls, right? I'll have cash left over to buy more shares. Is what this is. So as you can see there, if I buy, roughly 200 shares at $11.15, if the price drops all the way down to $8.80, right? I'll be able to then buy, roughly, you know, 300 shares, right? And if I buy 300 shares, I get them for 26.40. You simply add these two numbers together and then divide by 500 shares, right? Because I'll have bought 200 plus 300, and my actual cost would be $9.74. And like I said, I feel much more comfortable owning FAZ at $10 versus owning FAS at $50 and having the price come all the way back to, like, 40 something, right? So you see my cash balance there, $610. That's just not a lot to work with. So I much rather go ahead and sell out of FAS, and have my cash in my pocket and buy FAZ. And if the price falls, no big deal. I'll just buy more, and possibly get it at that $10 level versus the 11 that it's at right now.